drew her eyes to the shore again. How clean, she was thinking. He had indeed a clean, oval-shaped brown face, determined, but liable to good humour, with dark grey eyes inclined to narrow with his thoughts, and darkish hair, and he was thin and active. He took hold of a button of her coat. "You haven't said a word about yourself out there, but you aren't happy, I know." "I dislike people who talk about their private lives." "Look," he put a card into her hand, "that club always finds me." She read, "Mr. James Bernard Croom, the Coffee House, St. James's Street." "Isn't the coffee house very out of date?" "Yes, but it's still rather the thing. My dad put me down when I was born." "I have an uncle by marriage who belongs. Sir Lawrence Mont, tall and twisty and thin. You'll know him by a tortoise-shell-rimmed eyeglass." "I'll look out for him." "What are you going to do with yourself in England?" "Hunt a job. That's more than one man's work, it seems." "What sort of job?" "Well, anything except schoolmastering and selling things on commission." "But does anybody ever get anything else nowadays?" "No, it's a bad lookout. What I'd like would be an estate agency or something to do with horses." "Estates and horses are both dying out." "I know one or two racing men rather well, but I expect I shall end as a chauffeur. Where are you going to stay?" "With my people, at first, anyway. If you still want to see me when you've been home a week, Conderford Grange, Oxfordshire, will find me." "Why did I ever meet you?" said the young man with sudden gloom. "Thank you. Oh, you know what I mean. God, she's casting anchor. Here's the tender. Oh, Clare." "Sir?" "Hasn't it meant anything to you?" Clare looked at him steadily before answering. "Yes, but I don't know if it will ever mean any more. If it doesn't, thank you for helping me over a bad 3 weeks." The young man stood silent, as only those can be silent whose feelings are raging for expression. The beginnings and endings of all human undertakings are untidy. The building of a house, the writing of a novel, the demolition of a bridge, and eminently the finish of a voyage. Clare landed from the tender in the usual hurly-burly, and, still attended by young Croom, came to rest in the arms of her sister. "Dinny, how sweet of you to face this ballyhooly. And my sister, Dinny Gerald, Tony Croom. I shall be all right now, Tony. Go and look after your own things." "I've got Fleur's car," said Dinny. "What about your trunks?" "They're booked through to Conderford." "Then we can go straight off." The young man, going with them to the car, said "Goodbye," with a jauntiness which deceived no one, and the car slid away from the dock. Side by side the sisters looked at each other, a long and affectionate scrutiny, and their hands lay squeezed together on the rug. "Well, Ducky," said Dinny at last, "lovely to see you. Am I wrong to read between the lines?" "No, I'm not going back to him, Dinny." "No, never, none?" "No, never, none." "Oh, dear, poor darling. I won't go into it, but it became impossible." Clare was silent, then added suddenly with a toss back of her head, "Quite impossible. Did he consent to your coming?" Clare shook her head. "I slipped off. He was away. I wirelessed him and wrote from Suez." There was another silence. Then Dinny squeezed her hand and said, "I was always afraid of it. The worst of it is I haven't a penny. Is there anything in hats now, Dinny?" "All British hats? I wonder. Or perhaps I could breed dogs, bull-terriers. What do you think?" "I don't at present. Will inquire." "How are things at Conderford?" "We rub on. Jean has gone out to Hubert again, but the baby's there. Just a year old now. Cuthbert Conway Cherrell. I suppose we shall call him Cuffs. He's rather a duck. Thank God I haven't that complication. Certain things have their advantages." Her face had the hardness of a face on a coin. "Have you had any word from him?" "No, but I shall when he realizes that I mean it." "Was there another woman?" Clare shrugged. Again Dinny's hand closed on hers. "I'm not going to make a song of my affairs, Dinny." "Is he likely to come home about it?" "I don't know. I won't see him if he does." "But, darling, you'll be hopelessly hung up." "Oh, don't let's bother about me. How have you been?" And she looked critically